Independent Australia was at the Gold Coast Council chambers last Tuesday, 25th of November 2025. Look, there I am, hugging a giant koala. Anyway, we were there mostly to talk to people rallying outside against a plan by Mayor Tom Tate to build a cableway through the World Heritage listed Springbrook National Park. But also to see if we could speak to Mayor Tate, as IA is conducting an investigation into him called Tate Town, into many of his questionable activities. Last Tuesday was the end of a particularly bad week for Tom Tate, firstly by him being outed in the press over his lavish travel expenses, the latest being a planned trip to the Winter Olympics in Italy next year to promote that worldwide hub of winter sport, Queensland's Gold Coast. Tate went on 3 trips aboard in the last financial year, costing taxpayers well over $100,000. Only one other councillor enjoyed an overseas junket during that time, a guy called Tozer. Also in the news was Tate trying to claim $441,000 from the city for a defamation case he launched without council approval against the ABC and a fellow sitting councillor several years ago, then abandoned. Last week, after it was revealed in the media, Tate immediately changed that amount to $100. $100. This weird proposal was voted on last Tuesday by council and failed. In fact, only one councillor voted for Tate's proposal, Tozer. So when that same Tozer decided to wander down to the anti-cableway rally last Tuesday, and with Tom Tate nowhere to be found, we ambled over to him. When we got to him, Tozer appeared to be mansplaining to a member of Gecko, the environmental group holding the rally, that what they really needed to do was set up smaller community groups in each council ward to lobby and inform councillors about the cableway individually. Apparently, though, when we talked to Glenn about this later, we were taking him out of context, which was, as a matter of fact, his go-to response to most of our questions. This strange and somewhat contentious interview follows, after which I will put it into some sort of context. So it's all about you guys. It's not about all the residents of the Gold Coast.
I know.
I mean, there seems to be a lot of decisions that are getting made in favour of the mayor at the moment, such as, he's got the pods down there. He changed the decision 6 months later. Down at his Surfers Plaza Resort, the Bowls Club. David Donovan from Independent Australia.
Hey, how you going? I'm Glenn. Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, I know Glenn. We've been in touch before.
Yeah.
So why is this cableway, which has been rejected 4 times before, still being considered by this environmental impact study? That's the first question. Yep. Second, how much money is really going into it? We've been told it's $1.1 million for this environmental impact study, but the quotes are likely to be more than 11 million. So, is this likely to be approved or not?
It's on the record. I have been a strong opponent of delivering a cableway and impacting the World Heritage Area. So obviously you're asking some strong questions of one elected representative. There's a 15.
Yeah, that seem to vote mostly together. You are sometimes a dissenting voice, but not all the time.
Yeah, we can talk specifically about my voting history if you'd like, but I'll stand by my record.
Looked at it extensively.
Every matter. I try to think about the decisions that we make, and I think I'm pretty rational about those sort of things.
So you're actually saying to this group which organises and is from these different parts that they should respectfully, you said, exercise their local area to actually influence those particular councillors in each ward.
I'm saying that you missed the start of the conversation, and what I said is that councillors and any elected official, they build, information about a certain decision they have to make, and that is often gathered by people they trust. And my recommendation to Pam, who I've worked with for more than a decade now, is that by building those trust relationships with elected officials, you're able to influence decision making. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes, a councillor might make a decision just based on the information, but sometimes they make it based on people they trust and the information they have. It's the sheer diversity of decisions that are made by the council and other levels of government make it almost impossible for a councillor to be like an expert in every one of those different areas. It's practically impossible to be an expert in all the different things that we make decisions about. And so we have to trust experts in each field to make those decisions.
But this cableway is not new. You know, it's been happening. It's a proposal that's been put forward 4 times. It's had national attention. You know,
Again,
surely
I'm not going to justify the decisions of council up to this point, because in most instances over the last, 4 years, I voted against the cableway moving forward. And I did that on the basis that that the Springbrook National Park, which is contained wholly in my division, I'm not okay at being the councillor that saw threats to the World Heritage designation. I don't want to be that councillor. So that's my view, and I think that threat, those risks to the World Heritage area, I think that if you asked everybody in the city what they thought about a cableway, without any details, most people are generally pretty pro in this city, are pretty pro entrepreneurism. They're pro, to use the mayor's term, that have a go spirit. If you tell them about an idea that doesn't have any information attached to it, they generally are pretty positive about it. There is less sceptical people than positive people in our city. However, when you start asking people about whether they would want the World Heritage designation to be rescinded or to go away, I also think the majority of people say that's important to them.
Are you saying that the councillors don't really do their research? Because they do receive all the briefing papers. These are important decisions that you make each time. You're not meeting every single day.
I think to interpret what I have said...
Well, that's what you're saying. You're saying that these councillors can't be experts on every single thing.
And I appreciate Independent Australia is an important commentator on local issues, but again, my view is
national issues. We don't usually do local issues.
Local issues, national issues. Frankly, I think every issue is local to that local community affected by that.
Yeah. So we have to misinterpret your words.
It's funny how I just misinterpreted your words as you were misinterpreting mine.
Well, it's a misinterpreting party. We should be at the convention centre.
Councillor Tozer said he had voted 4 times against the cableway during his many years in council. But given Springbrook lies within Tozer's electoral division, well, that's hardly surprising. But, as I alluded to in the interview, Tozer votes with the Gold Coast potentate, Tom Tate, pretty much every time. Although in that, Tozer is no different from almost every other Gold Coast councillor. Tate rules the Gold Coast with an iron fist, and that's why, here on the Gold Coast, we can't have nice things. Like an unspoilt national park, which is an international treasure.